I get it. Tex Winners came up with the triangle and all that, but like I said before, Phil does not get enough credit for his defensive adjustments, and for you to be a leader of men, for guys who have high egos like a Shaq, like a Jordan, like a Kobe, that matters a lot. And there's a reason why there's a reason why Jordan quit twice. No, my fault. There's a reason why Jordan quit the second time when the Bulls didn't want to re-sign Phil Jackson. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why Kobe, you himself said the main difference between Phil Jackson and any other coach I ever had, the fact that Phil knows how to communicate, you know how to help focus guys together as a unit. Those are the things that matter. So when we just say talent, you can give the best talent in the world, as we saw with Steve Kerr, Steve Nash. It don't matter if you don't know how to put that shit together, and most importantly, put them in a system where they believe in it.
So you're speaking about intangibles, right? And you're the same guy that says intangibles don't matter. You're the same guy that
I did not say. I never said that. I never said that. Never said that. Never said that.
No, you
never
said. You said. Don't you say like it's some Jedi force or something like that? You made.
Yeah, I said. I said when you use intangibles like killer will, aura, that's anime bullshit.
So how do you qualify? Okay, so being a leader of men, what the fuck? What does that qualify?
That's an intangible. Yeah, that's an intangible.
So that's an intangible. So being a leader of men is an intangible, but having killer will isn't.
Yeah, I'm not describing an anime. I'm not. No, that's dumb.
It's the same thing.
That they say that in anime too. Leader of men. I'm not.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Like being a leader, when we talk about on the court, I usually say that's more so. I mean, I like talking on the court, of course, but you lead by example. I
tell me Kakashi isn't a leader.
I think you lead by example when it comes to that. But what you're saying is, I'll give you the Phil Jackson defensive adjustments thing. I will give you that. Like he was good, but again, when we talking about we judge players based off of skill and eye test, but when it comes to coaches, we don't do that because Phil Jackson. He may be top 5 when it comes to adjust, but you're just talking about one side of the floor. Overall, Phil Jackson, X's and O's, he's a motivation guy. That's what I give him. He's a guy that was able to calm the personalities and all that, like you said, which is fair. But again, Tex made the triangle offense.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say? What do you say about comments about Draymond, Klay Thompson, Curry, and Iggy multiple times saying in interviews saying that we credit Mark Jackson for building our confidence. We credit Mark Jackson for instilling that defensive philosophy that carried us over into the dynasty. What'd you say about that?
To be honest, I think it's bullshit. I think Mark Jackson's he was cool and he was great and he could say he laid the foundation, but I don't think they win those titles without Steve Kerr. And I'm not some like super Steve Kerr fan, but I think Steve Kerr doesn't get credit for the fact that he always led a crazy they were always, when they won, was a top 5 offense, right? I mean defense. Of course there was top 5 offense, but they always had a great defense. I think Steve Kerr made great adjustments, especially in the playoffs, just in series adjustments. Not counting the last few years, because I don't know what they did the last few years. Even when they won in 2022, they were like on steps back to me, but for the prime years, 15, 16, 17, 18, I think Steve Kerr was like, it goes Steph, then Steve Kerr in terms of importance to me.
I just you don't think Steve Kerr, that last championship run, displayed his greatest performance as a coach? The fact that one, you had Steph Curry being injured going to the playoffs, and you guys still they still be able to win the series and win games with Steph coming off the bench. The fact that literally in the finals we seen him. Yeah, the last championship. Yeah, 2022. Okay. We literally seen Steve Kerr in the finals with Draymond take him in and out of possessions to optimize the team's offense and optimize the team's defense. And like you mentioned before, the defensive adjustments, and Mars contested multiple this too. No other team besides maybe the Heat ran more zone principles than the Warriors, especially that last postseason. So to me, that's all coaching, and I think that was the biggest display of Steve Kerr as a coach, even after KD.
So you proved my point. You proved my point that he's better than Phil Jackson.
No, I'm actually helping you out by describing Steve Kerr's impact as a coach.
You did, and then you're proving my point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying because, like I said, that's similar to what I said about Phil. Because Phil was accredited just like Steve Kerr, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson given the credit for putting the battery, quote unquote, in the Warriors back defensively, while Steve Kerr took credit for what they did offensively. It's the same thing for Phil Jackson. Tex Winter gets the credit for the triangle offense. However, Phil Jackson's the guy who's making the defensive adjustments, and he's the guy who's refocusing that team. So I'm just giving you the similarities between the two coaches. But I'm more so predicated off the fact that one, Phil was able to do it with multiple franchises, different cores of players, and still get high levels of success. Well, we haven't seen that from Kerr yet. So I don't think Phil Jackson is as much as a merchant as Steve Kerr. Those are the reasons why.
How when the teams in which he had, he had Kobe and Shaq.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said.
Like, what the?
Kobe and Pau Gasol.
No, that's what I said with different cores. One championship he won with Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Pippen. The next few championships he won with Scottie Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman. And then the next set of championships he won with Shaq and Kobe. And then the next set of championships he won with Paul Gasol and Kobe. Different players, high levels of success.
Yeah, but all those players are like two of those players are top 5 players. Three. Shaq,
Yeah,
Kobe, and
two
Jordan.
of those players. I mentioned 5.
Shaq, Kobe, and
I
Jordan.
mentioned 5, Jalen. I mentioned my fault. I mentioned 6 players, Jalen. That's the point.
No, but I'm saying though, but each one of those
top 5 players of all time.
That's crazy.
Right.
3 of them are
Like,
top 10 players all time.
I guess what I'm saying is,
No,
if you
6 of those players not top 10 players.
I said
Not
3.
6.
I said 3.
So
I
it's
said
Shaq, Kobe, and Jordan.
Jordan.
You know, clearly, I think
Yeah.
you can make these top 5.
if we hypothetically switch them,
Is that,
I guess what
am
I'm saying is-
am I confused? If not, some of you guys have Steph Curry in your top 10 now. How many championships does Steve Kerr win without Steph?
0.
See, I hate that.
Okay,
I hate
so
when
what's the
y'all
point?
say that. Like,
No, they just said it to me.
That's why people
They
should
literally
have
just said it to
Steph Curry
me.
in their top 10 because that's incorrect.
like my thing is, Steve Kerr, he squeezed all the juice out of what the Warriors could be potentially.
Mhm.
Like they reached their maximum potential with Steve Kerr.
Mhm.
And that's why I rather ceiling raising more than floor raising. But
And even then,
That's
when
all
we
right
talk
there.
about Phil Jackson as well, like you could probably make the same argument with the Bulls, but again, he was implementing things that wasn't his coaching system. It was
Right. That's
No,
not
no,
schematically, though.
and that's the thing. That's the thing, Dub. This is why I do disagree on like who you hire as the assistant coach. Just like they do the same thing for football. I apply to basketball. Who you hire as your assistant matters as a head coach too. Who you pulling that coaching staff with you matters to me as a head coach because
that's fine. That's fine. But when you're copy and pasting literally somebody else's philosophy and you haven't changed that at all.
No, but he hasn't. That's the thing. Like the Bulls before Phil Jackson, they were give Jordan the ball, get the fuck out the way.
No,
Phil was like,
he copied and
philosophy.
pasted his assistant
Mhm.
coach's philosophy, and he never changed that ever. Now, defensively,
No,
I'm not going
what?
to trip about the defensively,
yeah, I
but-
get defense.
but he even tried to implement that with the Knicks, a system that was never going to work in this day and age.
yeah, as a GM, he's trash. As a GM,
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
was
gonna-
bad.
nothing to
That-
feel
that-
for
that
that.
was
I'm not
bad.
gonna-
No, he was a GM, but he was trying to put some coaching
Yeah,
philosophy.
he wanted them to play the triangle. It was
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
one-trick
like,
pony,
yeah.
bro.
So
He's
how
a
was
one-trick
Phil's
pony,
coaching?
bro.
How was Phil's coaching when Shaq left and Kobe had to do his thing for those couple years? How was his coaching then?
Well, he actually
He wasn't there all those years. He was there like
He had
one year.
Rudy,
Yeah, he was there, but
they
yeah,
had
he was
Rudy
back
T,
in,
and then
like,
Rudy T
06.
left because he didn't want to coach.
He wasn't there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at Phil Jackson's coaching tracker. Like I think he coached 19 years. I'm counting. He had one season where he didn't have either Michael Jordan or Kobe. He had one.
That's it.
That's crazy. So it's so hard to
I mean-
judge when you have 2 top 5 guys for that long. It's
No,
so
but
hard to
Jalen,
judge
that's
the
what you
coach.
do. That's what you do. Like we do it all the time on PC. Like what you do, you look at the adjustments, you look at the schemes, and you look at most importantly, what is this coach doing to optimize my best players? How many months has Mars been calling Budenholzer a fucking fraud, despite the fact that the Bucks won? Is what he did in games. Lack of adjustments, lack of optimizing his best player.
I get
So,
what you're
and like I
saying,
said, you can give Jalen, you can give.
But
you
Sturdy,
can
that's
also-
a bad
you
comp
could-
because that Giannis. Okay, Giannis being that offensively flawed in the half court, like I don't even know what is the bad position to put Michael Jordan in.
exactly.
I
Or
don't even know,
what's-
like-
exactly.
No. What you do,
Where are you putting where it's bad?
I'm about to answer your question, real talk. You do what Doug Collins did. Just be a glazer and be like, here, Jordan,
You mean
give
when
Jordan
they
the
got to
ball.
Eastern
Everybody else get the fuck out the
Finals
way.
and took the Pistons to Game 7 and Scottie Pippen didn't play.
No, that was
No. They didn't take the game in Game 7. That was
actually
Phil
with
Jackson. That was
Okay,
with Phil
got
Jackson.
there
That's the
in
point.
19.
Okay.
That's the point.
But
Like,
then they
Ah,
got
you
to the
cut,
Thomas-
buddy, you
finals
cut.
with-
Sorry.
No, real talk.
They
Isaiah
took the
Thomas,
finals with Doug Collins.
they did. But
Okay,
Isaiah
that's
Thomas
true.
said this himself. Like, he said that was the biggest difference between Phil Jackson and Doug Collins. With Phil, it was getting a second and third option way more frequent. With Doug, it was just basically a fucking ISO game. And that would make it easier to defend
That's kind of
Jordan.
not fair because they weren't ready yet. The guys around him wasn't necessarily ready yet. Like you talking about 91 Pippen versus.
No, I'm talking about schemes. I'm talking about schemes. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about schemes.
Them sharing the ball more, having other guys, having Michael be less.
Yeah, but I'm still saying there were better players at the time, though. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Doug Collins in 89 and 90 they could have did it. Or well, 89 they could have.
No, they couldn't because like you said, like like I said, that heliocentric top of the ISO bullshit that Doug Collins trying to run, you rarely win. You rarely win in history in the NBA. It's easy to defend in the playoffs.
100%, no doubt.
But it's Michael Jordan though.
So what?
Even with Michael Jordan, nigga, don't matter. Great players lose to great teams.
I'm saying okay, but what bro is saying is that okay, if Michael and Scottie get better as they get older, even if they were playing like that, nigga, it's Michael Jordan.
They could have easily still went to the finals. Yeah.
That don't mean shit.
But like we said, there's a difference between a good coach can win a championship with great players. A great coach creates dynasties. We spoke about that like half an hour ago.
Right.
Sure, Doug Collins could have won with the MJ, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant trio because of the greatness.
But is he winning 6?
But
Hell no, he's not winning 6.
Is he three-peating twice?
That's fair.
Is he
Fuck
winning
no.
3 in a row? That's where the questions come in. That's what the difference
Is
is.
Tex Winters on the sideline with him?
Hey, hold on. Last thing too. Hold on. Last thing too. When Greg Popovich traded Dennis Rodman because he wasn't getting along with him, what the fuck you think Phil Jackson did the first year he got him? He optimized him. He understood. Okay,
He's a Zen master. He's a Zen master.
Is that so? He said, okay, I understand. No, what coach you know will let a third best player go to WWF and WCW and wrestle and shit?
That's fine.
Like,
And I give him
nigga.
credit for that. I give him credit for that. But we talking about X's and O's and adjustments.
The biggest.
Which one is it? We talking about X's and O's, or we talking about talent? Like we keep going back and forth.
The biggest point you're missing. The biggest point you're missing
It's all
here
of it.
is what Trey Ball's trying to say is, even though you're talking about these systems and like the X's and O's in the systems, what the thing you're not accounting for is maybe the greatness of Kobe, MJ, Shaq. That they are so great that was able to hide some of the flaws within that offense that Phil Jackson was having. So even though you're talking about him doing this with multiple guys, he's surrounded by top 5, top 10 talent that, let's say, we didn't even know if it was really that flawed or not because those guys were so transcendent themselves. You feel what I'm saying?
Kind of, but that's the thing, Dub. I seen that same system. I seen that same system working.
Players can hide a coach's flaws the same way a coach can hide.
Exactly, and in
Fact.
this
That's a fact.
scenario,
That's a fact.
in terms of
That's a
Steve
fact.
Kerr, you brought up 2022 and how Steph and Steve Kerr were really doing their shit and making up the team's flaws. That's something that, if we're gonna be honest, Phil Jackson has never done.
Well, we agree to disagree, Dub. Go watch that first Lakers title with Shaq and Kobe. He did plenty of that. Go watch that 2009 and 2010 run. He did plenty of that. Go watch that 98 run, especially with the Bulls. He did plenty of that. He did plenty of that.
Don't make me.
No. When Pippen and Rodman was injury prone and was done, Phil Jackson made multiple adjustments to help that team get over the hump.
And what was Michael Jordan doing?
Michael Jordan being Michael Jordan, but just like any no, I didn't say he was, but just like any great player, you need help and not just from the other players, but also from the coaches too.
So he's 30. Let me ask you this. Just very simple. Steve Kerr or Phil Jackson, who was better, like right time, right place? Who would you say that applies to more? See, I just disagree. Like we just disagree fundamentally. Like I don't think a lot of guys could have just came in and turned the Warriors into what he turned them into.
And that's not what I'm saying either. But you just asked me between the two, who was more right place, right time. I think it was Steve Kerr. Remember, Phil Jackson was assistant on the Bulls for a few years before he got head coach.
Coaching the GOAT.
No,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
What are you saying right now?
He was an assistant coach, and then he lucked into the general manager after the coach went to.
He didn't luck into the general manager.
Let me finish my point. He lucked in that the general manager made a decision after they made the Eastern Conference Finals to fire that said head coach and promote the assistant. while the Golden State Warriors was actively looking for a head coaching job, and Steve Kerr just filled in the slot for them.
He did become the coach of a team that was just in the conference finals.
Yeah, but that was
Phil
a
Jackson,
part of
right?
it.
You talking about Phil Jackson, right?
That's the thing. Like that's what I'm saying. How does Phil Jackson don't get credit for helping them get to the East Conference Finals as an assistant?
Now we praising assistant coaches. You praising assistant coaches?
Yes, Jalen, what are you talking about? Yes, assistant coaches get. Hold on. That's what these niggas been doing with Tex Winners this whole fucking time. What are you talking about?
I get assistant coaches matter, but
implementing a system is different.
Hold on. Real quick. 2 streams ago, Mars literally said Doc Rivers is a Tibbs merchant because the Celtics want an Owe as a defense, and who's their defensive coordinator? Jalen Tibbs.
I agreed, but yeah.
Okay, so
like what the fuck?
But those are certain, bro. Not every coach. Wait, hold on. Not every coach just delegates a whole side of a ball to an assistant. That's not normal.
Honestly, a lot of coaches do. A lot of coaches do.
This is not football.
A lot of coaches do.
Jackson as the assistant,
They get their
the
input,
team's running
but
a
to delegate it
heliocentric style of
completely?
offense. Tex Winners becomes the assistant to Phil Jackson, and they have the triangle.
Yeah, but that's thing. Though, Phil Jackson was the defensive assistant. But go ahead, bro.
So age 30 in the 90s without Phil Jackson, do you think the Bulls maybe they don't win 6, but you think they still win multiple, right? Like 3 plus. Without
throughout that whole decade?
Yeah, without Phil.
Depending on the coach, they probably get like 2 or 3.
Now with Steve Kerr and the Warriors when he came in 2014, right? Do you think they
14.
still win, let's say more than 2?
2015.
Yeah, so let's say they win more than 2. Do they? With Steve Kerr, like without Steve Kerr? I don't
Without
think so
Steve Kerr? Yeah, depending on the coach, yeah.
Nah, because I don't think no coach would have implemented the system that Steve Kerr did. Like no coach. And you can
But no, let's do what y'all just did. If you have a team like the 2017 Warriors, 2018 Warriors with KD, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, yes, any adequate coach you can put there, they'll still win.
But then you gotta think about it. KD has said many times the reason he joined Golden State is because of the brand of basketball they play. That's because of Steve Kerr. If Steve Kerr's not there, they don't play that brand of basketball. He doesn't join them, so then there's no super.
So it's just hard for me to go with the KD. Yeah, I'm not really talking about the KD ones because it's kind of hard for me to go there. Like shit had to transpire for that to happen.
Like
a lot of
playing
shit.
The beautiful brand of basketball that attracted KD to
Correct.
The main DeAndre Mars, the main thing is the fact that Steph Curry wasn't really healthy early in his career. That's the reason why he couldn't afford to get KD. That's the main reason.
1,000% because you got that 40 million.
Yeah. It's been a bad episode for Sturdy.
Yep.
L's in the chat for Sturdy, man.
Cooking y'all was a bad episode? Hey man, if Cooking y'all was a bad episode, then shit, what a good episode gonna look like?
Join way.